Big day in Washington, D.C. today. This is the end of hour one of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Wednesday, January 6th, 2021. Stay tuned for hour two. Jesse Lee Peterson will be right back. But first, Hake news, not fake news. The 2020 election fight coming to a head today, I guess. Trump is to speak at one of the huge rallies in Washington, D.C. today, January 6th. The Epoch Times says the president is planning on speaking at a Save America rally on Ellipse today, 11 a.m. Eastern time, which would be 8 a.m. Pacific, which is just like in an hour. Big crowds, the president tweeted. Failing New York Slimes reported, quote unquote, that Mike Pence told Donald Trump that he didn't have the power to reject the election results. Trump called that fake news. The report, according to the Epoch Times, cited anonymous sources. It said Pence delivered the assessment about his role on January 6th to the president during their weekly lunch. He never said that, President Trump said. The vice president and I are in total agreement that the vice president has the power to act. And Trump said if the vice president comes through, we will win the presidency. Last night, real President Donald J. Trump on Twitter said, if Vice President Mike Pence comes through for us, we will win. Many states want to decertify. Mike can send it back. This morning, he tweeted, states want to correct their votes. All Mike Pence has to do is send them back to the states. Do it, Mike. This is a time for extreme courage. Nice. Patriots are being persecuted. The Proud Boys leader was released. He was arrested and then released and then ordered to stay away from Washington, D.C. The Epoch Times reports that Enrique Tarrio, a Miami-based Afro-Cuban head of the Proud Boys currently, was arrested January 4th after allegedly helping steal and burn a Black Lives Matter flag at a so-called historically black United Methodist Church in D.C. Some of the mainstream media was trying to call it a hate crime to destroy the communist anti-American Black Lives Matter symbol. Officers claimed he had, quote-unquote, high-capacity magazines. Sorry, libs. 30 rounds is standard capacity. That's not high capacity, but Proud Boys insignia on those two magazines. So-called Judge Renee Raymond released Tarrio on his own recognizance, but he has to stay outside of Washington, D.C. until June because of a bunch of idiots fly Black Lives Matter flags in D.C., and she's worried that he's going to destroy them. About the hate symbols, right? He called it an act of love and gratitude for America, what he's done to, allegedly, to Black Lives Matter flags. Remember, there is a Black Lives Matter plaza, too, now in our nation's capital. Ridiculous and evil. The D.C. hotel where Proud Boys often stayed in the past few months, Hotel Harrington, announced that it will be closed for the next few days amid the protests arranged in the area. Ridiculous. Meanwhile, Antifa BLM get special treatment. Michael Tracy pointed out, he's a journalist, that real Donald Trump tweeted May 31st of last year, the 2020, a week after the Memorial Day death of George Floyd and the riots started, that, quote, the United States of America will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. That never happened, but the president tweeted again yesterday, January 5th, Antifa is a terrorist organization. Stay out of Washington, he told them. Law enforcement is watching you very closely. And he added Department of Defense, Justice Department, the Department of Homeland Security, Secretary Chad Wolf, Secretary David Bernhardt, and Secret Service and the FBI. So we'll see. And Congress today, the Epoch Times has a full list of 77 representatives and 13 senators who pledged to object to the electoral votes. 90 Republicans. However, the great Darren J. Beatty tweeted a Revolver.News exclusive saying it's a stunt. Senate Republicans aren't warriors, quote unquote, for Trump, and they won't save his presidency. They don't even think Pence will save it. The Epoch Times says McConnell told GOP colleagues that he wouldn't, quote unquote, judge them for electoral objections. That's according to another senator. Thank you, you sleazy rhino. And the Georgia election, black commie Raphael Warnock, the so-called reverend, beat rhino Kelly Loeffler. And 33-year-old Jewish commie John Ossoff is leading rhino David Perdue. He claimed victory, but others aren't calling it quite yet. Both are pretty close races. I'm James Hake. Now on to Jesse.